They say that love lasts a lifetime, but I think that sometimes love can just last for one brief moment.
I'm not a nihilist. I'm not pessimistic about anything in life.
So it's been 3 months since you left.
So I was literally sat, right, slumped over in this chair in the doctor's surgery.
And I'd love to say I no longer think about you most days.
Albeit unknown to me with tonsillitis, feeling like absolute shite, and then you walk through the door.
That's not true.
So, you watched me run ahead of you in those muddy wellies of blue on my feet.
And so you picked me up in your car. You didn't take me too far, but today you drove slow. Or slow by your standards.
Let's call them oversized, to say the least. But they were sweet.
But I'm not a romantic.
It can just be one night of easy love.
Every day I question why. Why do we wait to be in someone else's arms when we have a perfectly good set of our own?
And it doesn't always have to mean sex or relationships, but I think that sometimes love can just be the safety that one person can make you feel for such a brief moment in time.
Audrey Hepburn said, "If you ever need a hand, you have two at the end of your arms."
Where are we going to go? I said, and you replied, I don't know. With an eye roll and a shake of the head.
I thought the cravings for company would have dwindled by now.
I don't need anyone else. I don't. That's what I tell myself.
That's not true either.
I looked like death, I felt like death, and it was like having a hangover, but without any other fun, any other drink, but like all the headaches and regret.
You had this glazed look in your eye. I thought at first you were about to cry. Until your teeth came out and your upper lip a sharp bite.
Like, I must have been a sight to see. Like, that's for sure. And then you walk through the door.
Housemates are starting to get a bit worried about me and they want me to come on a night out with them. But dancing, a load of drunk lads shouting really isn't my scene. I mean, I'd have to iron a pair of jeans and I think all that partying should be left in my teens. But it seems they're persistent.
It's dark out tonight.
So one night, I give in, and we go out and it's a laugh. And there's loads of girls about. That helps.
I mean, at first, like, I caught your eye and you smiled and I felt almost the best I'd felt for a while. Still with a nasty throat though, so not the full mile. But nonetheless, despite the cough in my chest, that perked up the energy to at least try to impress, because like my mother says, it's been a very long time since I've been anywhere near the romantic scene.
Beneath it all, maybe I want love. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't know.
Thing is, I'm sort of an introverted extrovert, not to come off as desperate in my crease blue shirt. Although my mate says it looks great and that puts a smile on my face. Not sure why. They've been great tonight. On top form. All of them.
And we'd nip in a shop on the way home because she'd like to get me a treat, and there was this big wall of all different chocolate. Well, not now, it's because as a child I was always really small. And that wall seemed really tall. Not sure if that adds anything at all. And you used to get a little bit frustrated at the time because you'd be waiting for me to decide and then laugh as I got the same chocolate bar as last time. run out of the shop to scoff the chocolate bar, but I'd always leave you a bite.
Cheers for that, man. And truth be told, like, since I last went on a date, I've just become happy by myself. Like, yeah, I got a promotion at work, so I've sort of just swept the love life off the shelf, you know, and all of a sudden it's been, what, 2 years now?
Maybe I value love so much that I just don't want to ruin it, or maybe I just don't give a fuck. Go through life waiting for it. Waiting for love, I mean.
Fuck. Am I a virgin again?
I remember for a moment no one else existed.
And if by any chance a look should turn into a conversation and small talk should turn to flirtatious advances, then for the next 6 hours, the hole in my heart is temporarily plugged.
You wouldn't take your eyes off me as we just learnt about each other's lives. And you made me laugh a lot. And I made you laugh, and you took my phone and you wound me up as if we had known each other forever.
I've waited for love for so long that I don't quite know what it is. Nowadays it's all Instagram likes and Tinder profiles and finding love on a Spanish island for an ITV series.
But then I saw you, and you smiled, and we chatted, and you laughed. And I'm honestly amazed that I got you talking to us, seeing as though we were literally two strangers walking past each other.
Tom's at the bar ordering one too many, and others on the dance floor looking quite unsteady, and Fab and Lise have gone to the toilet because they're dying for a piss, and Jordan's gone for an early kebab because he's feeling drunk and shit.
Accelerator.
And I think at this point we had only known each other for about an hour, but the way that you moved my hair and held my thigh just kind of reminded me of what I had been missing for so long.
And I've been getting a bit friendly with a dance floor stranger.
And even then, I had me Ted Mosby moment, thinking, oh, what if this is the story of how I met the love of me life? And then things started to pick up, and I went on a couple of dates.
Because I've been wrapped up in a stranger's bed. My mind's been wandering like a stranger's head, but maybe just then for a second I get this feeling, and I reckon it doesn't have to be the same routine with the same flannel shirt and ripped blue jeans, pissing away cash on vodka, coke and lager dashes.
And I mean, I don't actually remember half of the things I said to you after all of the cheap vodka cranberries and Jaeger bombs, which on reflection could have something to do with why I never saw you again. But that doesn't matter, because somehow, in some way in that moment, something just felt right.
I'm finding my peace with you by plucking out problems from under another's pillow. I do this to get back at you.
It gives me a fright when you drive like this. It's not you.
And I remember sitting alone with you.
Usually you're laughing and joking and blasting music and often unfocused. Look at the road you dimwit, I'd say. And you'd ignore me and speed up anyway. So in my head, I'd always pray that we get home safe. We always have, in fairness.
The nightclub crowd was silent. Moving bodies in slow motion as we only focused on each other. Your baby blue eyes locked into mine. It's a notion. And you spent ages trying to remember the name of the actress that I reminded you of. And it was Saoirse Ronan. And you continued to call me Saoirse for the rest of the night until...
It opened my eyes to having the idea of someone to love as an addition instead of an everything, even if I was only there for like a diagnosis and a prescription.
It's not about the commitment or the thrill. It's about wanting to feel wanted and warm. It's about wanting something so much you pretend it's right for you. But you need someone a little deeper. You need to be a little sober.
You're a good driver, even if you do have your motor imperfections. But you'd always blame me for being shite at directions. A couple laps round a roundabout to make a route correction never goes amiss. Or regular stops at the bypass at night if you were desperate for a piss. The police are coming, I'd shout. They weren't, there was no one about, but you'd panic and fumble up your jeans, try not to stumble as you ran back to the car.
That's not what love is. I don't think.
You then vanished, back into the crowd.
So you walk home on your own tonight.
And then I'd be off, in my own little world, walking on walls or running or doing anything remotely energetic at all.
And then we drive round for hours and hours, and then you buy me McDonald's, have flowers, before dropping me back far too late.
And I fell over, and I cut my knee. And without thinking, you smiled and told me everything was going to be all right. That trickle of blood from just above the shin as you pinned on a bandage, smiled at me candid and told me that that's what Nan did to you when you were only little.
Oh, the dates were after the tonsillitis had gone, by the way. I just forgot about that bit.
That graze sanded by the pavement that took a few tears to clean. And you hugged me tight, told me you were on my team, and beam a smile with those bright white teeth as you pulled me to my feet and watched me run back out on the street to play and repeat.
And like, let's face it, you're probably rolling your eyes at that, thinking how much of a cliche it is, but in all honesty, she came back, it was a month later, saying we should just be mates.
And I've gone again now. But just know I cannot wait to see your face when you pull out that seat and we sit down again for dinner.
That broke me out a little bit, that one.
But you're back out the next day, and every night's the fucking same. We're drinking Sambuca and Jaeger and going out for a smoke in the rain, and the bar's always rammed with a bunch of cheap lads like me, probably looking for validation or approval and paying for so many drinks. The card's basically communal.
Love is conflicting, illogical, false.
And I did actually question for a while if you spent your nights thinking of me, imagining me exactly where we had sat that night. Or I wondered if you just had this blurred watercolour image of me in your mind, you know, messy blonde hair and smudged red lipstick. Waking up the next morning thinking, what was her name again? And just settling for BTEC Saoirse Ronan.
So it's tap on the card machine and back to the dance floor. The night gets longer, the drinks get heavy, and it's back to the bar to grab some more.
And that actually did hurt that night when you vanished back into the crowd, dispersing out into the sea of loud moving bodies in a storm of dry ice and neon lights. And it took months of me picturing you in my head and kind of waiting with some kind of forced optimism for, you know, fate to somehow bring you back to me.
And I was just distraught that I'd been an ex-boyfriend. And little naive me thought that my life was practically over, because, like, in my eyes, you were everything I wanted and more. And it just felt like everything fell into place when you walked through the door in that doctor's surgery that one day. That is such a cliche. But, you know, that time it just wasn't to be. Nor the next. And honestly, it makes us a little bit vexed to think about it.
But it doesn't hurt anymore. When I think of it now, I smile, and I don't regret the fact that I didn't make you stay, and I don't regret the fact that, you know, I don't wait for you anymore. But instead I just think of the way that I made you laugh, which to be honest is all I want. And I remember that often the best people in this life are the people that you never see again. Because, you know, they don't have an opportunity to break your heart or an opportunity to walk away or change their mind. And so it's just kind of one perfect, surreal memory for you to hold on to. You know, it's something that you don't have to forget.
But to me, that's what love is, you know? Like, love makes no sense. Love doesn't require any logic, nor does it play by any rules that are comprehensible to you or to me. Like, love, I think, is hideously mean. But you've got to keep keen to look past that point. Otherwise, like, what is the point, you know?
But tonight you were quiet. We'd had an argument. Can't remember who was in the wrong. Dropped me home and you were gone. We could never just have a disagreement with me and you. It was always just a full-on blazing fucking argument with the lid flying off. The next day, I got that text from your mum. She said that I had to call her urgently. Told me that you'd lost control of your car. Told me that this time you'd taken it all too far and you were gone. Someone should have showed you where the brakes were on that fucking thing.
And that's why I say love is corrupt. Because of this pressure to love, I've abused it. I can hand on heart say that I abused his love. Every day he handed it to me. He handed me love on a silver platter. Wrapped his arm tight around my skinny waist and kissed my freshly cut chocolate hair. He told me he loved me. I lied and I said it back behind white gritted teeth. Our hearts and our heads define love differently, and that's why I say it's corrupt. My head adores the fact that he loves me, but my heart just doesn't feel the same. My heart felt nothing towards him, but my head told me he was the one, whatever that means. Every day I'll force it, because he gives me a taste of why people want to be loved.
Gone without a final goodbye or a hug or one final sign for me to show you my love. We'd only had a small argument, but that was our final conversation. There was no room for apologies or any make-up indication. One last time for you to pull me close and tell me you still loved me. For me to get that lump in the back of my throat as I try and hold back those happy tears.
constantly looking and constantly hoping for more. Trying to meet eyes. Trying to look nice. And my mate sees this, he can see right through me. And he stops me and he says, that doesn't matter tonight. He's right. To me, that's what love is. Love is having the heart and the honesty to catch a friend, to tell a mate something that maybe they've needed to hear for a while.
And I genuinely think the best people in this life are often strangers. You know, the kind of people who leave that distorted image in your mind that you think about on your commute to work and you smile. The kind of people that impact you in such a way that, you know, you couldn't even imagine.
And you smile because you watch me from the window like Nan did to you when you were only little. As the sun whittles away and it becomes too dark to play.
I'm not mad at you for the argument or the accident, for that matter. To me, love is when you act irresponsibly, irrationally, unconditionally. Because your love came to me free and I never had a say in that. It invoked me, it played with me, it danced around the room as you lay with me. I begged love to let you stay with me, but love does not play gods and it has never had that ability.
We'd all be liars if we said we didn't crave the sensation. The arm around our waist as we fall asleep. The kiss on our head as our eyes are fighting back tears. We love the idea of being in love without actually feeling it, because beneath the surface we're all just alone. Lonely humans. The theory of love actually exists, says sociologist Robert S. Weiss. Affiliation, security, attachment, nurturance, guidance, reassurance. All these things he says we need to avoid loneliness. It's in our subconscious that we must love. Psychologists tell us that we should love. So has love lost its worth? We should love when we're ready, not just when we're lonely. But that's something I can't really change. We watch other people love. The couples sat.
You gotta take paces, trace faces, find happiness in the weirdest of places, and make no mistake about it, right? This life can never be defined as easy.
We should love when we're ready, not just when we're lonely. But that's something I can't really change.
And, you know, there's gonna be heartbreak along the way. And I might just be stuck at home with me cat and a glass of wine sometimes, but like, there's a chance. So, I suppose I can take that for now.
And so, I look at you all now. Faceless people behind a screen in a world of division and disconnection. Smile at strangers. Talk to everyone that you meet at a bar or in a blank-faced crowd on the street, and remember that the best people in this life come unexpectedly. In fact, you know, half the people that you're going to know in this lifetime you've still not met yet. And I think that's just such an amazing thought. So learn to let go of the what ifs and the what could have beens, and remember what you had. And remember that there is so much more that's going to come to you unexpectedly in this life. A small dose of optimism for you to carry. And so to me, that's what love is. Optimism.
I used to say I'll keep on looking for love. I'll dig under the duvet, plunge around the pillows, meander around the mattress, but that's part of the problem, and that's why I say this. I do want that. But in some ways I've started not to look, not to care. Because I've got my mates around me. And we're drunk, and in a few seconds this place is going to shut, and we're going to stumble out into the air, and that's all that matters tonight. You gotta have hope that you'll find it again, but only when the moment's right.
We watch other people love. The couple sat opposite you in a small city restaurant, your sister and her boyfriend, on Christmas Day. Your mum and dad arm in arm walking home from the pub. We watch love. We wait for love. We crave love. Why? Yet somehow I'll make myself love. I'll hold someone in the palm of my hand and shatter their love. Why? Control? Expectations?
So be optimistic. Hold people closer, let them talk deeper, make them laugh louder, because one day they may just vanish back into the crowd.
You've watched me from a distance for years, wiped away the tears, walked away the fears, as it's gone from nappies and nap time to first nights out and too much wine. And if there's any drama in my life, you're the first to know. The first who I would go, the first to tell me that it will be all right in the end. Whether it's patching up my knee or burning my tea or dropping me to school in the morning because you can't get me out of bed because I'm moaning or yawning.
Well, because that's just what love is. People argue that the world wouldn't have began without Adam and Eve. So maybe the world is built on love. Maybe we need love.
You're always on my side.
I'm not pessimistic.
So you're left without a breath.
I'm not nihilistic. And I'm not romantic. And maybe, just maybe, love is corrupt.
A wise woman once said that love does not lessen by miles.
And to me, that's what love is. You always said to me that I'll never know love until I have a child of my own. And actually I think you're wrong there, and to me that's a bit unfair. You'll never know love until you have a kid of your own. That's the best gift that life has to offer.
And I don't know how many miles it is until I make it to heaven. But with you in my view, and our hands intertwined, when I'm with you, my love is forever blind.
You always told me that I was your favourite present. Well, this kid's got to tell you that I'm proud of my parents.
Surround yourself with people who love you, not those who bring you down. And be completely and utterly unapologetic about it. And maybe since I might not have found that same intimacy, but I've only just remembered how to love unconditionally.